How's it going, everyone? To all the people who are watching the replay, just give me a sec. I'm playing with a new camera, so if you haven't seen before, I normally don't look like this, but I try and fix up this lighting because it makes my face look a bit weird. There we go, wait up. Maybe that'll be a bit better. It looks pretty intense, and it's real close up. Give me this. So today, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing a Q&A. Reasons being is because I have got nothing to do for the next hour, and everyone's been commenting on my videos when you're going to do another live. So today we're going to be doing another live. Basically, yeah, we're just going to be asking questions. Here, give this. I've got a new camera. Does it look better? Comment below if it looks better, because I've tried to put a bit of effort into making these streams a little bit nicer and better quality. So we're only probably going to go for like an hour. And then, yeah, we'll just do some general Q&A. I'll answer some of your questions. We'll talk about some stuff. So, yeah, no, it looks like a lot of people have already joined. We'll get some questions. And, yeah. So, yeah, I did buy a brand new camera. It's like apparently it's 1080p. It looks pretty good on the, like, because I can see myself sometimes. Well, I can see myself through the computer where I record on. And it looks like it's better quality. Now, I didn't realize how zoomed in it would be, so it's pretty full on my face. And, like, I had the blinds open before, and the lighting was pretty crazy. But it looks like it's cleared itself up a bit. So I'll keep, like, obviously as I get a little bit bigger and once I start taking these streams a little bit more seriously and have a bit more time, I'll try and make a bit of a, like, you know, effort to make the room look a bit better and all that kind of stuff. So we've already got a good question here that I wanted to talk about today, which I'm super excited about. And a lot of people here in Australia should be excited about it. So we're going to talk about my black rams. So it all kind of, like, the story starts with, if you guys haven't seen, I've got my mate Justin who keeps fish. He's just started up a YouTube channel, and we've started really working together on a few projects. Not on specifically, like, he doesn't, like, work for me or anything. We just work together on certain things. And Justin's an absolutely, like, he's such a good German blue ram breeder. That's how we met. It's actually through his rams. And so I went over to his to buy rams, like, for my breeding stock, because I didn't want to buy rams from, like, an importer or anything like that, just because, like, the hormones and stuff like that are in those rams. So I've got some hormone-free rams from him. But when I went to his setup, he just had thousands of these German blue rams. And I, like, as you guys would know if you've been following the channel, which, if, like, all these people here that are watching the stream, like, all you guys would be pretty keen followers, I'd guess. You guys would know that I've had trouble with rearing up the fry of the rams. So there's been a few problems. Like, the first time I got them to hatch, and then I moved them to the new fish room, they died. So that wasn't good. Second time, like, I've only gotten a few spawns as well. And there's a bunch of spawns in between there. Like, once I got the pair into the fish room where there was, like, camellianus worms, so that caused a bunch of problems. There was, they didn't fertilize their eggs for quite a while. So I changed up a few things. I added, like, some big spawning mops in front of where they normally lay. And that helped the male to not get distracted by trying to fight off whatever he could see outside of the tank. And he started to fertilize the eggs really well. So that happened. I got a spawn. And then the second time I failed on the spawn, the eggs, well, the fry, got sucked out of the breeder box that they were in, and obviously just eaten by some prey cocks down below. So that was a huge blow for me. I really was annoyed by that. And I told Justin that since he's having such good success, just with the rams, he can take, like, the eggs of the black rams and raise them up so we can get some proper breeding stock. So now it's this bit, like, a weird relationship where because he's only got a few tanks, he's building up a fish room. He's basically hatching everything, and then I'm raising everything. So, like, we're even doing it now because he's got, like, all these tanks full of his German blue rams. We're taking all of his, like, his rams will breed over at his fish room. He'll hatch the eggs and get them to little fry, and then he'll bring them over to my fish room where I'll raise them up into adults, and then we sell them. So, yeah, it's been pretty fun. But the good news is we've got our first spawn of black rams are doing really well. There's like, as you guys will know, with the genetics of black rams, I've been told by tons of people, I posted on it, like Facebook about them and stuff like that in our groups, photos of the parents and stuff like that. And people are going, oh, they're just blue ram fry, not blue ram fry. They're dark blue rams. Like they're not black rams. They're just like the dark strain of the German blues. And it completely is not the case, because if you guys know anything about the genetics of black rams, you'd know that they're developed from the gold ram. And what happens is when the black rams breed, you get like 3 different types of fry. You get a really small percentage that are pure black, like dark rams, like the ones that you're probably thinking about. Then you get this middle like area, probably like 40% of them. So I'd say that's 15% to 20%. And then 40% of them are like the dark rams, like the ones that I'm breeding at the moment, the ones that I picked up somehow. And then the rest of them are gold. So all of our fry are either gold. So that means that they're definitely, sorry, let the camera, either gold, dark, or really dark. And they're about, I'd say, a centimeter in size at this point. Justin's probably going to say that that's wrong, but I'd say I'm looking at a ruler. They're about a centimeter in size. So they'll be available in probably 2 months here in Australia on my website. So everyone who's keen on them should be really excited, because I'm keen to be selling those very, very soon. I know that a lot of people have been chasing me up for ages. So that's really good news. And that's what we've been working on with those. And I'm going to try and find a couple of questions here. I'm not expecting many people to be in this stream just because it's literally the middle of the day. So a lot of people are at school, and a lot of people actually asleep that watch my channel, because only like 8% of people are Aussies that watch my channel, which I find crazy. Normally, we've got quite a few people here. Kayla's here. Bob Kayla, I love your channel too. Was watching a video on the German Blue Rams. You had that bucket of osmosis water and used aquarium silicone to seal it. Aquarium silicone doesn't bond very well to other things. No, it doesn't. So yeah, so that didn't work. So what I did was I bought like some kind of adhesive, and that seems to be working pretty well now. If that doesn't work, I'll probably rough up the surface with a bit of sandpaper and try and get it to stick a little bit better, and maybe try another adhesive. But that did seal up my RO unit really well. How are the Betta fry doing? Really good. So that's another good like bit of news. Those Betta fry, the first batches, which there's only this camera keeps refocusing. There's only a few that are going to be available, but they're going to be available on the store, I'd say, within the next week. If you guys go follow my Instagram, I think it's in the link below. That's where I'll post on one of the stories when something's available. I don't really post on YouTube and stuff like that, just because, like I said, like 8% of the audience can even buy from me, and it's probably even a smaller amount of that because only the major cities really can buy from me. So that's where I put all of my I should turn off the autofocus. I'll do it next stream. So I put all of the updates on like my fish and my production and stuff like that on my Instagram stories. So if you want to know when something's available, that's where to go. But they look really cool. Like I'll describe, they're only just starting to really get their color. So Bettas grow. And then at the very end of their growth, they start to get their color. So it's this weird timing thing where you want to, like, they're all together still. So I haven't jarred them yet, where you want to take them out, but also like leave them in there for the longest period of time, because you don't want to have them in a jar for very long. Like, just because it's hard to store them and it's just a temporary thing. So like, for instance, all of mine are going to be put into little plastic cups, like decently sized ones, but they're only going to be in there for about a week until they get sold. If they don't get sold, I'll go back in with some, like I'll figure out something so they don't stay in a small cup forever. But it's this weird balance where like you want to separate them out, but you don't like want to separate them too early because you want them to have their color, because otherwise they don't sell. So that's part of the whole game with Bettas. But they look really good. There's cellophane ones. There's only a few of them, but they look amazing, and I might keep one of them. And then there's like marble ones, which kind of look like the fiber. These are the long fin kois, which are going to be available. And then there's just kois. So you'll see it in the videos as well. Like I've got a few vlogs coming out where I talk about them and all that kind of stuff. Do I know anything about turtles? I don't. Definitely don't. Don't ask me about turtles because I'm not good with them. Okay, here's a good question. I have Hikari first bites, so just like the dust fry food. How long do Koi fry eat on that before they need different food? So I'm still learning with Koris. I've got too many Koris, and I'm probably gonna have to decide which Koris I want to keep in my fish room. Just because, like I said, probably on previous streams, if you haven't heard, my whole mentality with moving into the fish room was to buy as many different things as possible and try all the flavors of ice cream and like basically throw everything at a wall and see what sticks. And I bought a bunch of Koris to see which ones I could breed and all that kind of stuff. And one of the things you can't plan for everything. And one of the things I didn't plan for was raising them up. It's actually quite difficult. I thought they'd be pretty easy, but they're not like a cichlid or something like that where you get them past that fry point and then they just grow. Like all you have to do is feed them. They're actually pretty fussy when it comes to taking them off baby brine and getting them onto like some kind of pellet. They don't take to it very well. The only ones that I've noticed that take to it very well are like the albinos because they're a little bit bigger and they grow quicker. But all the other ones don't. Now back to the question. One of the things that I was alluding to is that some of the fry, like all the fry raising is completely different. So for instance, your stir-bay Koris aren't big enough when they're born to take baby brine shrimp. So they can actually starve to death or choke on it and it just sits down the bottom of the aquarium and rots and causes fungus problems. So that's one of the things. I killed about 3 batches of stir-bay fry doing that. And I have only like a few adults now from when I first started breeding them. Panda Koris are actually pretty big when they first born. Same with albinos. So they're a little bit easier to feed at the start and you can just feed them baby brine. And trileniatas are like that middle ground. So you kind of want to feed them not baby brine. You kind of want to feed them first bites. And then after like 4 or 5 days of first bites, get them onto baby brine. So it's different for everything. I'd say like if you're using first bites, just like a week or until they're big enough to comfortably eat the baby brine shrimp. But I'm not like an expert Koi breeder yet. Well, I'm not an expert breeder of anything really, but I'm still learning all the methods for that. And that's partially reasons why I haven't made like a Koi breeding video because everyone has asked for it and every Koi is different to breed. So I'd rather make like albino Koi video, like a nice Koi breeding video and then a panda Koi breeding video and everything like that because they all are Koris, but they all breed differently. It's kind of like you'd say like a ram and an epistogramma, they both are a cichlid, but they breed completely differently. So that's part of the reason I haven't made many of those videos yet. But yeah. This channel has caught the attention of clients of mine, so thought I'd stop by and have a listen. Thanks, Stephen. I appreciate that. It's cool that people are talking about the channel. When I hear you guys talk about what you pay for plecos, etc., I'm almost passing out. I thought my plecos were expensive here in Europe. Well, yeah. I've talked about that probably on every stream. Everything here costs a lot of money, especially now today. I took a bunch of fish to 2 shops today. Yeah, 2 shops. And I was just talking to one of the managers there and we were talking about how everything's been bumped up in price just because of COVID. And it's not actually the supply or anything like that. Here we go. It's the freight. The freight costs have gone up. So really big fish like goldfish and discus and all that kind of stuff have been bumped up in price just because of that freight. They're too heavy to ship. I'm fighting cottonmouth and ick at the same time. What do I do? So cottonmouth is fungus is what I'm guessing you're talking about. So fungus is pretty easy to treat. You just need to get like an antifungal medicine. And ick's pretty easy to treat as well. So both of these diseases that you've got aren't too lethal, which is a good thing. That means that you've got heaps of time. For instance, like if you had dropsy or something like that, or an internal parasite, it'd be a lot more of a problem. So the chance that you lose your fish isn't high, but it's like if you leave it for too long, something will happen. So next time, sorry about this camera, guys. Next time I'll turn the autofocus off or whatever. It's really annoying me as well. So you can probably do two things, or three things, I guess. You can get those medicines, so an antifungal and an ick medication, and use them at the same time and knock out both of the diseases. The second thing you can do is you can probably use salt. I don't know why it's autofocusing. The second thing you can do is you can use salt. So that might work really well, depending on what kind of fish you've got. So the salt that I have been playing with, you just get some normal salt. Doesn't need to be aquarium, just some like sea salt, literally. And you do, I think it's 2 tablespoons per. Don't quote me on it. I've got to get I think 2 tablespoons per gallon. I'm not too sure. I don't want people to go and add salt, but look up the salt dose. It's on Aquarium Co-op's website, and that's the best one to use. And the third thing is you can treat for one. So you can treat for your ick and then treat the fungus later, or vice versa, using the medications. Do I ship to Canada? I don't, sadly. I can only ship in Australia and only to select states. So a big part of my business is actually just supplying fish to shops at the moment. And that's the easiest for me at the moment. And part of that is that I can sell a lot of the fish that I breed on my website to the people who can actually buy it. So online is a focus of mine, but it's not a huge focus, just as I get this fish room going, because I need this fish room to get going before I can start to focus really on online stuff. And I'd love to be able to build up some kind of online shop where people can buy like fish that I'd prefer them to be bred by me, or like, you know what I mean? I don't want to just import stuff and sell it. I don't really like doing that too much, and it's more satisfying for me just to be breeding my fish and selling them. So obviously, as I get more fish going and breeding and selling to other shops, those fish will all be available on the website as well. Are Corydora expensive in Australia? I just got some Gossai for $5 a piece. What a steal. That sounds really good. Obviously, there's hundreds and hundreds of different types of Corys, but it depends. Like, Corys are just expensive in general because not many people import them here. So you can import Corys to Australia. You just can't import like plecos and certain other species, but you can import Corys. But like a panda koi would be like $12 at a shop, like $10 to $12, and then a sturbe would be the same. So that's your average price, and then like it'd be like probably $10 for like an albino, maybe $8 for an albino. So there's a whole bunch of different like prices, but I think that it's not too crazy here. Can you ship to Perth? I can't ship to Perth, no. I can probably see, like, that's the thing with all these other fish that are coming through. So like, it depends on the order, and I don't want to get too much into it because it's not something that I want to really have to focus on at the moment. But obviously, as they get bigger and certain individuals want to buy fish, it's going to come down to quantity. And like, say you've got like a certain order amount and you want to buy like some really expensive discus and like a whole bunch of other things, the only way I would be able to ship that is like, at the moment I only ship like small amounts of fish, and I only like just through the mail. But you can't ship like discus through the mail, because if something goes wrong, you're down a couple $100. So for orders like that, I don't know how I'm going to sort it out. Maybe like there'll be a section on the website where those fish are, and then you buy and you pay for airport to airport postage, and then I just ship it to the airport that you set, or something like that. But obviously in the future, like if you're in Perth and you want to buy, say, discus or something like that, you just have to pay for airport to airport, because I can't just mail them to you because it's not quick enough. So yeah, how are the discus fry going? So this is a good story as well. This is something I wanted to talk about, and this is going to be in an upcoming vlog as well. So not not this week's vlogs, but maybe next week. Discus are a tricky fish to breed. They're not tricky to actually breed. You need to get a breeding pair, and it's pretty easy to, like, they'll lay eggs and they'll take care of them. But one of the things that I was oblivious to, and you're not going to hear it on a lot of other, oh, thank you so much, Papa Yin. I really appreciate that. One of the things you're not going to hear, and I'm going to be, obviously, like, this channel, for me, I'm just completely transparent all the time. I'm always honest. And the reason I have this channel is to just share knowledge. And I don't know whether other people don't deal with this problem, or people hide it so that other people can't produce discus, but flukes are a massive thing. And I didn't realize this. I thought that, you know, flukes are present in pretty much every system, and I just didn't know that that'd be a problem in my system. But obviously what's happened is I left the fry in for too long, and a lot of discus farms, what they do is every week, like on a Monday, they'll treat the whole entire system and farm with, like, for flukes, just to kill that fluke cycle. Because what happens is if you leave the fry in for too long and you're not treating for flukes, once they get to a certain size, the parents can transmit the flukes onto the fry, and then the fry just spread it between the fry. And they all just get fluke problems. So what happened to me was I came in one afternoon. This was probably at day 10, or no, it would have been like day 12 of the fry free swimming. So they're about 5 or 6 days from being taken out from the parents. Well, what I was planning on doing, but I was going to probably leave them in for a bit longer, so this problem would have happened anyways. And I noticed some of the fry were tossing and turning, but I didn't know whether it was like something to do with anything. So I just kind of like ignored the problem. And I came back the next day, and there was just a ton of dead fry. And the way the fry were dying is they were suffocating. So the flukes were actually eating all the gills of the fry, because if an adult fish gets flukes, like in the wild, fish live with flukes all the time, and it doesn't kill them, because you have to think about it like a fry and a fully grown fish, the fluke impact, like the fluke's the same size, so it's going to kill the fry much easier. So anyways, there's like flukes all the time. You just got to treat for them. With discus especially, it's a huge problem. So yeah, I found like I lost most of my fry to flukes, and it was pretty, like, I came back the next day as well, and there was more fry dead. So I separated the fry out, and I have about 30 still, which are doing really, really well. But I did lose a bunch of fry from my first spawn. That's going to happen with every fish. It sucks that it's discus, but every time you breed something for the first time, I mean, it's not like always smooth sailing, and that's the kind of stuff you learn. So what am I doing this time? Well, I treated all the fry for flukes I have now, and they're all fluke free. But next time, so now I've got this weekly, try and get this microphone out of my face. Now I'm treating flukes like weekly with praziquantel. I'm not using potassium permanganate, because I don't want to use it yet. It's a little bit of a tricky medication. It's cheaper, but the scale I'm at, it's probably easier just to use praziquantel. So we're doing a prazi treatment every week. And next time with the fry, they're going to come out the second they start being able to eat on their own, and they're not dependent on the parents' slime coat. So they'll come out, and it should work a little bit better. But yeah, it's super annoying. I mean, the parent discus, they were a little bit stressed for the last 2 days, but so this happened 2 days ago, but they're a little bit stressed, but they're going to obviously, like, they've recovered now, and they've shed all their slime coat, and they're looking to spawn again anyways. Like, the female's so gravid. So should be good when I get another spawn going. But it was a really, really hard lesson to learn, but I learned it real quick. So hopefully next time it'll be a little bit better. That is fluked up, isn't it? Hey, it was super annoying, but anyways, what type of cories have you bred now? So I've bred the albinos, obviously, so the Aeneas. I've bred Similis, not successfully. I've gotten spawns, and I've gotten like 2 fry, but I've still got to figure out a method for them. Longfin pandas, and Sturbays. So I still got I've got like Equus. I'm trying to spawn Equus, and I've got all these super easy beginner ones. So I'm still learning, and hopefully I figure it out. I mean, if anyone has any clues what they're doing, I mean, I'd really appreciate some advice, because I've got a whole bunch of things. I've got like the Lucamellis, I've got flagtails, equus, skunk, bandit. I've got too many types, and that's the thing. So it's too hard to try and focus on all of them. So I will be getting rid of some colonies and trying to focus a little bit better on some of the ones that I actually do want to breed and focus on. I've heard Similis need low pH for the eggs to hatch and develop properly. So I think that's correct, because I've had mine at about a 7.2 and it's just too high. And I haven't had much spawning, and I've had huge gravid females, but just not as much success as as the other ones. Why did you choose the Floridiscus over the white tigers? Well, because the Floras were a proven pair, and the white tigers would have cost me, like, because they're not a proven pair, I would have had to buy all four to try and pair them off, and it would have cost me like $5,000, which is ridiculous. So I wasn't willing to do that. I just took the proven pairs. Maybe I'll get white tigers later on, but I've still got to learn how to breed them. You know what I mean? Like, I'm dealing with flukes and all the things that beginner discus people have to learn. So good thing that I've got big adult ones that are really hardy and healthy discus, and at least I have an understanding from all the other fish that I've kept on how to medicate and how to look for other things. And I'm not an expert, but I've learned a lot just from having this fish room now and having to deal with all the things that you get with having a fish room. So can you make a video on ankler catfish? Probably not until I get them at some point, probably way down the line. I'm going to make a few videos on how to breed hillstream loaches when I find some, because I've set up a hillstream loach tank, and that's going to be in a video next week, which I'm really excited to show you guys. So yeah. Do you export to UK, or is it impossible for you? So I could export if I wanted to. I mean, my scale is so small. I'm running a fish room in like a 16 meter squared room. And I basically only supply to shops. Like, I'm not even big enough nearly to consider. Like, I haven't sold anything to the wholesaler yet, but I will have to sell some stuff just to clear out space. But like, that can show you how small I am at the moment. Obviously, if I get bigger in the future, I'll start doing that kind of stuff. But there's something in staying small. Like, I wouldn't want to get too big. And I really want to focus on being the small guy for a very long time before I think about doing anything crazy or making like something where I'd be large enough to export anything. So yeah. Fair call, but the white tigers are gorgeous. They were incredible, hey. There's tons of cool discus now that I want to get. And it's like all us fish keepers, normally we all have this like addictive collective bug. And yeah, that's definitely bitten me now with these discus. I mean, there's a whole bunch that I want to get. So, how are your neon tetrafry that you raised? They're good. I've just got them like as dither fish in with my long nose whiptail catfish. So they're not really doing anything, and there's no point really breeding them, especially when someone can ship in a box of 12,000 of them. So I can't really compete on that market. So I haven't really thought about breeding them. It was an awesome like opportunity to make some content, and I really enjoyed the challenge of doing it. And they're really fun videos to make as well. So that's kind of why I started breeding them. But I never made any profit. I didn't bother selling them because I only made in the end like I think I don't remember the exact number, maybe like 30 or 40 neon tetras, and yeah. So when one fish dies in your community tank, do you do 100% water change or some sort of treatment? So when I have a fish die in a community tank, I take the fish out and I try and diagnose why that fish died, because sometimes fish just like die, and there's not a lot you can do about it sometimes. Like, so if it's a disease, I normally try and do a water change real quick and then some kind of medication. But yeah, it all depends on what I do. I never do 100% water changes really though, unless it's like a fry grazing tank where I'm just trying to keep that water as clean as possible. I'd rather do like 2 50% water changes within 2 days, and then it stresses the fish out. Like, I mean, the fish don't get stressed easily, but yeah. Do you get upset about fish dying? Of course. Yeah, it's never nice to see it. And part of having a ton of fish is that fish die. Like, I mean, especially when you're trying to produce like thousands of fish. I mean, you're always seeing dead fish. You're often seeing alive fish, like, but every day you walk into the fish room, I mean, there's some fire to put out. So that's part of it. Yeah. But I obviously get sad. Like, there's nothing good about a fish dying. And it depends too. Like, sometimes like I can, like, I'm super attached to these discus now. So if the discus die, it's like a different story to like whether, like, you know, like a rainbow fish dies or something like that. Because if you form like a connection with the fish, and they're literally like, it's like having a dog. Like, discus, like having a dog. So I'd be way more depressed and upset about losing a discus than I would, or like even like a Zedplec. I'd be absolutely broken. But yeah. Anyways, I've got one more question I want to answer, and I want to show you guys something because I've got something, like, I think it's exciting and cool, but I don't know what you guys will think. So, where was it? Do you remember when you decided to set up a dedicated fish room? What made you go on from a dream to actually deciding to do it? So there wasn't really like, yeah, basically, I've always wanted to do it, and because of literally, it would have been like, it sounds so cliche and cringe, and every guy who makes a YouTube video says it, but like, because of the YouTube channel, I was able to actually like pursue making a fish room, because obviously when you have a YouTube channel, you make money from ads, and that was able to float me, like, while I was making literally no money and spending tons and tons of money building this thing, and was able to actually float me into building a fish room. And I think that, like, I've always wanted to do it. And so the reason that I wanted to do it as well was I wanted to make a ton of content from it. So there was like two things, and I treated building the fish room as a separate business to like the YouTube thing, but they were both two businesses that could combine together and like form something bigger. So I don't know what made me start doing it. I think literally YouTube was what made me start doing it. I was just very, very lucky and fortunate and like literally blessed to be able to have like a solid YouTube channel. With all you guys that come and continue to watch my videos and like them, I really just like can't express how thankful I am for all of that. And that's honestly, it sounds cliche, but that's actually what started up me being able to do it, is having the YouTube channel and having a reason to do it because of the content, but also like having the finances to do it. Well, not really to do it. I'm broke as, but being able to float me into it. Here, one sec. Check that. Keep going with this. So the one thing I wanted to show you guys real quick is what's it called? So I've been working on a few things, and it's not like crazy, but there's a few things. So if you guys like know anything about YouTube, everyone has merch, right? And some people have really cool merch, and some people have like terrible merch, and I'm one of the people with terrible merch. Like, if you look on my website, it sucks, and it's because I haven't really put any effort into it. Now, I've thought about a few things that I want to make, and I've been getting some designs done because I'm not a great designer. I'm like decent at making thumbnails, but I can't do like Adobe Illustrator or anything like that. So we've been working on a few things, and we decided we're going to make like dad hats. And I'm not doing this to like make money. I just thought that because I have the YouTube and because I have some merch, it might as well just be good merch, because it's my brand and I want it to like at least look good. So anyways, I've got 4 designs. I decided to go with these little, what are they called? Like a dad hat, and it has like a little logo on it. And it's not even like my logo, because I might make one with my logo on it or whatever. But they're these little cute like axolotl designs. And here's the first one. It's going to look terrible. You can't really see. This is not the best way to market it. This is an axolotl. And then I got a Corydora done. So there's like a black Venezuelan one. I've got a pea puffer as well. And I've got a Zedplec, of course. I couldn't not get a Zedplec. So sorry for the terrible images, but I'm like super excited to do that. So there's going to be the dad hats, and they're also going to be like, if you see my t-shirt, how it's got like the little logo here, it'll just be like the little pea puffer or whatever you want on the logo there. So I'm excited to have that, and like I've been working on that. So what do you guys think? I mean, everyone's saying they love the Corey. I really wanted them to be really cute and like they'll look really, really good when they're stitched onto a shirt, I think. So I'm super excited about that. But yeah, what do you guys think? You like the Corey? What do we like the most? Okay, there's the pea puffer. I'll show you guys again. The pea puffer, the Zeb Plek, the pea puffer, Zeb Plek, Corey, and the axolotl. So I'll go through them again. It's literally like, and I don't want it to be cringe. Like people are talking about some designs are cringe. It's going to be literally something so simple. Like I'm cool keeping fish simple. So it needs to be like just a shirt with a logo on it. That's it. So axolotl, Corey, pea puffer, and Zeb Plek. Which one? I reckon the axolotl is the cutest, but I like the Zeb Plek the most just because I like Zebs. But I reckon, to be honest, the cutest one might be the pea puffer as well. Anyways, that's what I've been working on. That's one of the things I've been working on, which has been really exciting. Corey. Everyone wants the Coreys. That's so cool. How long do you think it'll take to grow out my peppermints to 5 centimeters? Probably like 4 months, 3 to 4 months. Pea puffer and axolotl, Corey. Everyone, I reckon it's the Corey that's going to be the most popular. I think everyone likes the Corey the most, yeah. KFS branding? Yeah, of course it's going to be KFS branding. But like maybe like, I don't know, like most shirts have, I think like a logo on the back. So it might be just like something small. But I really, you know, I don't want to ruin a good design, like especially something I put a lot of effort into getting made. Like I can't tell you the amount of messages I've given the people that I've been working with. Like it sounds stupid, but I want it to be really, really good. And like the colors are off. So also I'm colorblind, so I have to get all the people around me to help me with the colors, but like make sure the colors are right and working back and forth. And I don't want to ruin a good design by like putting like a massive logo or something on it. Like, because I'm not a clothing brand. I'm like a fish brand. I sell plants, I sell fish, like fish accessories, but I don't sell merch. Like, well, I don't, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not a clothing company. So like, I don't want to like ruin a good design by putting a bunch of my logos on it and stuff like that. So it'll probably be a really, really simple design. And yeah. Yeah. And like, that's the thing too. People are saying like, I won't buy merch, but I'll keep watching. It's like, exactly. Like, I expect everyone to buy merch, and I don't, like, I'm a business and I have to sell stuff to stay afloat, but like, don't feel like you have to buy anything at all. Like, you guys literally watching my videos and liking the videos and commenting is plenty enough for me. So it's just there if you want it. But yeah, the aquarium co-op uses puffers, so they do, but mine's a little pea puffer, and it's not my like branding. It's just like a cute design. So yeah. Where do you buy most of your rare Corys from? So I get most of my rare Corys from my local fish store. The guy that I'm really close to, he can get a lot of the cool stuff in. So he talks to me about whether I want stuff, and then I say yeah or nah. Then we get it in. Can you do a breeding project on Corys? I definitely can, and I'm going to be doing that. We were talking about that earlier on in the stream, and it's just a bit tricky, like, because every Cory breeding is different. So I'll probably make just like literally a general video on each one when I learn how to do them properly and all that kind of stuff. Do you know anything about sparkling grammies? Yes, I do, because for a long time I wanted to get one like right here on my desk. I wanted to get like a small little like 10-gallon nano tank, like even 5-gallon, and put a few sparkling grammies in there. So they're basically like a Betta. That's what I picked up. They're a little bit more active and a little bit more wild looking, but very similar. How is the Ultim angelfish going? So first thing before I talk about them, I'm not breeding the actual Ultim, true Ultims ones. I'm breeding Manapakri Peru. They're actually a scalaire, but they look like an Ultim. So I'm actually doing really well. It looks like I'm going to have another spawn today. I've had 2 successful spawns, and then the pair turned on each other, so I had to throw them back in with all the other ultims that I had to get them to repair off, and the male is the same, but now it's a different female. So they look like they're going to breed today, but never know. I mean, her papilla was really out, so hopefully they do breed. But I've got like quite a few hundred of them coming through, so don't worry about if you want any of them and you're in Australia. There's going to be plenty. Do you think I should breed angels before discus? Definitely. The reason I say that is because like the method's a little bit different, but if this is Benny's Aquatic, so I know you're breeding your rams because you send me messages and stuff like that. And I mean, rams are harder than angels, so maybe you can go for the discus, but just do a lot of research before you breed discus. The reason I say you'd probably get angels is just because they kind of breed the same, like where they lay eggs and they both can take care of them. I normally separate the angelfish eggs out, but the pairing and stuff like that, unless you buy a breeding pair, like of the discus, you're going to have to pair them off, and it's very similar to the angels. So maybe you could get the angels, breed them, and then use the money you make from the angels to buy the discus. But yeah, I'd say probably angels. But if you bred the rams, probably go for the discus as well. Do you ship to Sydney? I do. How are the L134s going? They're going really well. They're actually growing really nicely. And you just reminded me that I need to take my Repashy out of the freezer. So I'm going to put a note on my phone because I have forgotten to take the Repashy out heaps. So sorry for doing this, guys. I just really need to remind myself. Add. Cool. Well, that's helpful. Thank you to Puppy Yin. But they're going really well. They're getting big. I mean, they're still ages and ages away from being able to breed and then sell, obviously. So, but yeah. Rams or angels for profit? I'd say probably angels, just because they're a little bit easier. So the work's not as intense. And you can always sell angels, like angels outsell rams, I think, well, from what I've done. But to be honest, my last couple of orders, I've outsold like rams. So they're both pretty equal, I'd say. Why would some of my Pisto fry have bent back? So it's either genetics or that they're getting stunted when they're growing. So they can get stunted either by bad nutrition, which normally isn't the case, or bad water quality. So, yeah. What Repashy do you use for herbivore plecos and your carnivore plecos? So I use 4 different types of Repashy. I don't want to get flagged by YouTube for saying these names because they're a little bit funny, but I use Morning Wood for my L397s. So that's got like the cellulose in it for their diet. I use Super Green, Grub Pie, and Bottom Scratcher. For the carnivores, I use Grub Pie and Bottom Scratcher. And then for obviously the herbivores, I use Super Green. Every now and then I'll feed some of the herbivores Grub Pie, but the Bottom Scratcher is mainly for my Hypensistrus. So Zeplex and Snowballs, the L201s, not Snowballs, or Orinoco Angels or whatever. What's the best fish to get profits by breeding? Probably like, I don't know. They're all a little bit different. Anything that you can, if you're a small scale breeder, like I'm a small scale breeder, you want something that you can kind of compete on, because you can't compete really on neon tetras, but or like, to be honest, guppies. Like you can always sell guppies to fish stores, but you can't really compete with the importers. But something like, say like an Episto, that's normally a really, really good fish to breed for profit if you can get really, really good like results. And that also depends like on demand. So you want something like that you can sell, and something that looks good, and something that actually does turn a profit that you can compete on. So that's normally things like Like, I mean, people can import angels and stuff like that, and rams as well. But those two are normally really good just because the quality of yours can be better, and you can also, they're like a medium priced import. So you can kind of undercut people who have to import them into Australia or normally other places and make a decent profit because of the scale of how many you can breed. But if you're really small and you don't have a lot of space, epistogrammas are a really good one, just because you can get like, 10 to 20 bucks for an epistogramma normally. And you don't need a huge amount of space. So if you have like 50 epistogramma fry, it adds up real quick. They are a little bit trickier to breed though. Not like they're not crazy hard if I can do it, but yeah, they're not like breeding a guppy. But also, that being said, they're not like something you can always sell because not everyone wants a pisto. So that's why I mean they have to look good. What L numbers have you successfully bred? I haven't bred any. I've bred obviously the peppermints, but I'm still waiting for all my other ones to grow up. So that's why the peppermints have been really good, because I'm learning a lot about how to breed plecos. And once that time comes where I start to actually get fry from my, say, like my L134s and 397s and all that kind of stuff, and even my 46s, like my Z-Plex, I should be well equipped, like well ready to take care of those fry and actually successfully jump on that opportunity. So yeah. There's some questions here. Or maybe CPDs. So that's another good fish to breed for profit. Like stuff like that where they're not commonly imported and you can consistently sell it, and they're a medium. Nope, there we go, refocusing. When they're a medium price kind of fish where you can, you have to like, I'm constantly, before I consider breeding something for profit, I'm playing on my calculator all the time, trying to figure out what numbers I need to meet and stuff like that. But also part of it's enjoying it. I enjoy what I'm doing. So when I actually like last night, I stayed back at the fish room till like 9 p.m. doing water changes and moving fish around. I enjoy it. Like, so if you don't enjoy it, it's not worth doing. Do you know the difference between shrimp and snails? So besides them looking different, I guess the snails are detritivores and the shrimp aren't. I'd say the shrimp are better for the shrimp are better for eating algae, and the snails are better for cleaning up like detritus and mulm around the aquarium. Do you have any Episto recommendations outside of Cacatoides? Probably not the best person to ask, because all of my breeding has been with Cacatoides, all my like prolific breeding. I've spawned some Agassizias before. I only spawned the what they call the fire golds, but I had a really dud male and he just wasn't fertilizing the eggs ever. So, that's part of it. Like, because I only bought a pair of fire golds, I paid the price for not breeding them successfully. I really lucked out with my double reds when I was breeding them. And with my orange flash, I had like enough to be able to breed them properly. So when you buy fish to breed for profit, you kind of want to buy like more than you need, because say you have like a bad male that doesn't do his job. If you only buy two, then you can't like rely on another male to cover the slack of the other one. So because I only bought a pair, they spawn like 6 or 7 times, but they just never fertilize their eggs. So I can't really recommend any. I think the fire golds would be a good one to breed for profit, just because of like, how much they can like go for. So that's probably a good one. I really like the look of them too. One sec. Let me just wait. I gotta get this. Sorry, I need to get some moderators. So when there we go, perfect. When we get some moderators on here, this will stop happening. Anyways, yeah. So more questions. Have you ever used peat to drop pH and hardness? So I have. I've used the peat moss for my neon tetra breeding series. It worked actually really well with the neon tetras, but most of the time the hardness, the best way to bring the hardness down is to use stuff like RO water, because you can just quickly bring that hardness down, and it's normally not too pricey. Like people think RO water units are really expensive, and to be honest, my whole fish rooms run off of a $70 RO water system. Like if I need to use RO, so that's probably the best solution. Peat's really good, but say you wanted to breed neon tetras now, what I would do is I'd use RO water with the peat, just to use like the peat for the pH. But yeah. What's my favorite fish? Discus right now. No, I see, like, look, I like discus a lot, but my favorite fish has to be the L46 pleco still. Like, they're my favorite. They probably always will be my favorite. So yeah. I'm probably just, like, so you guys know, probably going to end in like 10 minutes so I can get back to the fish room. Might go for a little bit longer if there's some good questions, but this has been a fun stream. It's really good to like talk to you guys again. It's been like quite a while, so I'll probably try and keep doing these as consistent as possible. But yeah, water change is difficult because of all the tanks, and how do you do it? So not really. Like the difficult water changes is like the discus, right? Because you have to manually do that because it's an RO water system, and you got to siphon out all the mold and poop and stuff like that. But the rest of the fish rooms, like most of the tanks, are run off of an auto water change system, so that's really handy. Like, I mean, I don't spend a lot of time changing water. A lot of the time's actually spent on moving stuff around, like moving fish from one tank to the next, etc. So I don't spend a lot of time changing water. It's actually pretty easy now. What was the first fish I bred? The first fish to breed was guppies. Are you planning on being able to live stream from the fish room? Nah, look, like not this one. I wish that I could, but obviously, you know, I'm in a 16 meter squared room. The audio is terrible. Like it's really, really like loud, like all the air and stuff like that. So it's a little bit tricky to record in there and to stream in there, especially just because there's no Wi-Fi. But I'm like within, I don't know, maybe the next 2 years or hopefully a year, it'd be really cool if I could do that. My plan would be to move into like an actual place where I can build like a forever fish room, not like a forever one, but like something more permanent where I can like have less glare on the tanks and be able to stream there and make a lot of content there and sell a lot of fish and all that kind of stuff. So I definitely can't do that, but I'm going to look into like, maybe this is my bedroom obviously, but maybe look into setting up some kind of like fish room. I don't know, not a fish room, but like maybe a green screen or like some better lights to make the streams less ghetto. Like, I mean, I've just got the camera as well now, so yeah. How did you make those breeder boxes? I've tried custom intakes for my fry, but I've not been able to get a real good tank / bin. So there's 2 breeder boxes. I've got some of them here. I've got these ones on my website. Here, the camera's going to focus. These are really good. These are like the ones that you hang on the side. They're a little bit pricey just because they're hard to get here in Australia. So they're good. If you're in the States, they're going to be way cheaper. But as you can see on the photo, they're like kind of hang on the side and they work really well. But like, yeah, besides them, the fry system that I have, that's I just copied Dean from Dean's Fish Room. So he's got like, if you look up Dean's Fish Room fry system, just copy that, and that's what I did. You know, that's part of business too, is you take everyone's ideas and you choose like what doesn't work for some people and what does work, and you take people's ideas and you go, I should do that. So that's why I've got that system, and it's full credit to him. I mean, he's the one who came up with that. I would never come up with the way he does that. So yeah. How old were you when you got your first fish, and did you think it would end up like this? I was 13 and definitely didn't. No, not at all. I'm super surprised that I'm doing what I'm doing right now. I thought that, you know, to be honest, I thought that I wouldn't have a fish room until like I was like 40. I thought I'd still be doing like lots of my little tanks and everything like that. So I hope that my channel, like I always try and be super gracious, and I'm a very, very lucky person. But I hope that people seeing me build a fish room really young can inspire a lot of other people to do it, because like the amount of happiness that the fish room brings me and fulfillment is like you can't even like quantify it. Like I really enjoy doing what I'm doing right now. So if someone else can like get inspired to do what I'm doing, or something similar, and I don't mean like just like the content, like I mean go for it if you want to make YouTube videos, like, but that's not for everyone. But just like even breeding fish for profit in a little space, like just as a hobby, it's like I hope that some people can take my notes and all my mistakes. And I will be making a video on things that I changed about my fish room and things I'm going to be doing in the future fish room. But hopefully you guys are a little bit like you've got like a little bit of a blueprint, if that makes sense. We'll do a few more questions and I'll probably have to head off. So thank you everyone, by the way, for coming and coming in. Sorry, I'm getting called. Coming and watching the stream. All your choices of fish and axolotls are cute. A discus or angelfish would be nice too. Oh, he's talking about someone else. Here, one sec, guys. Sorry. I want to get into breeding fish and definitely want to do that in the future. 100%. It's like the most fun. Like even if you wanted to set up like a fish room where you just have your aquascapes and stuff like that, that could still be really, really fun as well. I used to be like, I'm still into it, but like I used to be in my mum's breakfast room, really big into all the planted tanks. So yeah. Like, I mean, if you wanted to do that, that'd be really fun. Like you can even grow plants for profit. So the reason I'm big into the profit thing, and for a lot of people, I think it's a good idea. Sorry, camera. The reason I think it's a good idea is because it makes the hobby sustainable. So it's not just like a huge money pit. But like, I mean, it's also not for everyone. So if you can find ways to make money out of the hobby, sometimes you don't like actually profit. Like that's the case with a lot of the hobbies. But if you can fund the hobby, that makes it all better. But yeah, I might do one more question and then head off. So yeah. What are your water parameters out of the tap? So my water parameters are about 100 parts per million to 50 parts per million GH and KH. And then the pH is about 7.8. So it's pretty high. But that obviously comes down when it gets added to the tank. So for all the things that I don't use tap water for are like apistogramma breeding. I don't use tap water for obviously the discus breeding. And I also don't use tap water for can't remember. So some Corys. But I do use tap water for like angel breeding. My rams have been breeding in tap water and they've been laying like hundreds of eggs. So yeah. In one sec. Why do people spam? Because they can. That's why. So if you get like, I mean, like, look, I don't like doing it, but if you spam, I just like, you can't comment on videos ever again. So yeah, my hair looks red. It must be the lighting. It's definitely not red. But okay, last question. When your plecos lay eggs, do you pull them or let the male guard them? So when my bristlenose lay eggs, I let the males guard them and then I strip them when they're ready to go. But with my peppermints, I've been pulling the eggs early, and that's just so I can practice doing that, because if I want to do that with like say my expensive ones, I know how to do it. I also just don't want the peppermint eating the eggs or something like that. So yeah. Anyways, guys, I think that I'm going to wrap it up here. Everyone's saying I'm late. I'm so sorry. I should have given you guys more notice, but this is just spur of the moment. So you can obviously watch the replay, but yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this stream, though. I really appreciate it. We're going to try and do a few more now. I got this this new HD camera. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Hey, so yeah, I'll see you guys in the next stream and the next videos. I hope you guys enjoy the next videos too. I put a lot of effort into making them really, really good. So, all right, see you guys.